All right, let's get it. So today I want to talk about, well, I just feel like having a rant. I'm going to rant today, so just please be patient. Allow me a little bit of leeway. But I just have some things that I want to get off of my chest. And as you can tell from the title of the screen, I want to talk about the GOP being agents of chaos. And I know I probably fooled some of you with the title. Probably thought I was talking about Representative Cortez, but no, no, this video will not be about her. And that's not to say that she doesn't have she doesn't have faults, or the Democratic Party doesn't have faults. I mean, the political system as a whole has a lot of warts, especially today. But I want to spend the next couple of minutes talking about the GOP and some of the more popular characters, if you will. So, again, if you'll indulge me just for a few minutes. So, if you pay attention to the political atmosphere as I do, you are probably aware that Title 42 came to an end here recently. And if you're not familiar with Title 42, it has to do with the southern border and immigration and the migrants that are seeking asylum, all of that good stuff. So, Ted Cruz, who everyone loves to hate, did an interview comparing the migrant crisis at the border to modern day slavery. And to be honest, this is probably what fueled me to make this video. I am just really sick of people comparing any type of humanitarian crisis to slavery. It's such a false equivalency, and it drives me absolutely insane. You know, on one hand, they want to tell us get over slavery. You know, they make those movies like Harriet Tubman and try and make it seem like slavery wasn't that bad. They don't want to give us reparations. But then as soon as there is some type of crisis, soon as there's something that they can make a soundbite off of, what's the phrase they love to go to? What's their go-to word? Oh, this is modern day slavery. Stop it. Stop that foolishness. Let me tell you something about slavery and these migrants and why you sound foolish when you say that type of stuff. And I had to catch myself. I almost said something else. These are people who are coming voluntarily. None of them were kidnapped. None of them were stolen from their land. If they go through the process, they can work and get a wage, although it probably won't be a livable wage, but they will be compensated for their labor. Not one slave was compensated for their labor. Not one person from Africa came here voluntarily. So no, punk, don't compare this to slavery. Just stop it. So I'm going to just go through, like I said, some of the more popular faces in the GOP, and I'm gonna just say I despise a lot of these people. I truly despise them. Right? You got this clown, Jim Jordan, who can't wait every opportunity to get in front of a microphone and start screaming, and he rolls up his sleeves like he's some hard worker. Dude, you sit in office every day. Okay? But he tries to roll up his sleeves and, loosen up his tie like he's actually doing some hard work. You're not fooling anyone, Jim. You try and hold some moral authority, some type of moral high ground like you're an upstanding person, but yet when you had the opportunity to speak out about these guys who said you knew about them being sexually abused, you did nothing. You kept your mouth shut. You are a hypocrite. Plain and simple. You guys railed about you're the party of law and order, yet you defied a subpoena. You wouldn't even come and answer questions to your colleagues about what you knew about January 6th. But you're the party of law and order. How dare you try and subpoena anyone? How dare you interfere in an investigation against Trump in Manhattan? You have nothing to do with Manhattan. You don't live in Manhattan. You're not from New York. You're from Ohio. It doesn't concern you. But yet, you're the party of law and order. Get out of here. Get out of here with that mess. You're a hypocrite. Pure and simple. You're bought and paid for. Moving on to Matt Gaetz, who's another clown who can't stay off of TV. Always wants to question someone about their actions. And he's disrespectful as far as doing it. If you ever seen him at one of these hearings, he will just talk all over you. He'll ask you a question and then won't let you answer it, and yet he think that he's like usurping some type of authority. You have no authority over anyone. And yet you were under investigation for having an inappropriate relationship with an underage girl. You know what you are? You're a pedophile. You're R. Kelly. And yet you want to try and take some type of authoritative figure over people. Get real. Get real. You clowns couldn't ask me anything. You couldn't ask me for directions and get a straight answer out of me. I wouldn't give you clowns the time of day. You mean nothing to me. No, I don't accept or respect your authority, and no one should. Because you're all full of that stuff that nobody wants. And y'all know what word I'm thinking of. I'm trying to keep this clean. So this is the platform. right? This is all they want to do. Race bait, be culture warriors. You got this strumpet who's dumb as a box of rocks, called Democrats pedophiles, but as I was just discussing on the last slide, we know who's the real pedophile. She makes fun of children being killed at school, calls them crisis actors. She's never met a conspiracy theory that she didn't like. She has no decorum, no class. All of the booing and all of the antics while Biden was giving his address the nation speech, wearing a fur coat inside, which you looked ridiculous, and you had to be hot. And I don't mean hot as in like beauty. I mean like literally you're inside. You had no reason to have on a fur coat, but whatever. They're just attention whores. That's all they are. They never miss an opportunity to try and get on TV and try and get attention. They have no interest in helping anyone but themselves. That's all what they're about, is trying to enrich themselves by staying in power. That's all. That's all they want to do. They claim to be the party of freedom. They want to be the party of limited government. Except for when it comes to your health care. No, you don't get to make those choices. They want to tell you what's good for you and what's not good for you, right? They want to be the party of freedom, except when it comes to education. Because you want to tell teachers what they can and cannot teach. Especially when it comes to Black history. But you're the party of freedom, right? You're the party of freedom, except when it comes to telling corporations what to pay, right? You don't want to raise minimum wage. No, you want to keep people poor. And then tell them to fight against each other. See, this is all a psychological thing, right? They keep you poor, they keep you angry, they keep you riled up. And then they tell you, oh no, it's not their fault. It's your coworker's fault that looks different. He's the problem. It's the migrants at the border. They're the problem. If you don't live on the border, the migrants are no problem to you whatsoever. Because you don't encounter them. Unless one of these fools, put them on a plane or put them on a bus and dumps them in your city. But that's a whole nother story altogether. See, these clowns tell you that they're pro-life, but they have no problem with all of the mass shootings that's occurring every single day. Every day you turn on the news, it's another mass shooting, to the point that we're becoming numb to it. But they're pro-life. They don't want to do anything though about these mass shootings, but they're pro-life, right? Make that one make sense. They don't want to do anything to help people survive, to help people that are struggling. They want to cut SNAP benefits, which people use to eat, but they're pro-life. They want to cut Social Security, which if you have a job, you pay into every single paycheck. That's money coming out of your pocket going into Social Security, and they want to cut that. They call it a Ponzi scheme. That's your money. How is it a Ponzi scheme? You're paying into that. So yes, you're supposed to get that money when you become old enough, when you get to the appropriate age. You're supposed to get that money. It's yours. You know, they want to raise their retirement age. Why? Why? They want to squeeze every single bit of life of you that they can. Just squeeze it out of you. So yeah, when you do, and I'm gonna have to look this up, but I believe I read somewhere that most people end up dying within like 5 years after retirement. Yeah, this is my opinion, but I think that that's by design. So what do these clowns stand for? Tell me how they have your best interest at heart unless you're part of that top 1%, which 99% of us are not. You got that clown, Tuberville, who basically said the quiet part out loud the other day. You know, he said white nationalists are Trump supporters. Well, no, duh. No cuss word, Sherlock. We already know this. But thanks for confirming what we already knew. So we got the highest court in the land. These guys are supposed to be the end all of all legal disputes. The highest court in the land. These guys are supposed to be just strictly, we go by the law. We're not political. We don't take sides. This is why it's so tough to get appointed to the Supreme Court, because you're supposed to be the best of the best. But no, every one of these jerks on the screen is corrupt. Every single last one of them. You got Uncle Ruckus down there at the bottom, who's basically the white guy's lapdog. You know, this guy pays for Clarence Thomas's vacations, paid for Clarence Thomas's mama house, paid one of his kinfolks tuition into a private school. You think that dude doesn't tell Clarence Thomas how to vote? N-word, please. You know he does. You know he calls him and say, vote this way, vote that way. And Clarence Thomas can't do anything except comply. Because if not, due to blow up his spot. You got Neil Gorsuch, who is accused of taking funds, some real estate deal, that helped out his wife. I think it's in the tune of $6 million or something like that, or my numbers may be off. I have to recheck the story, but yeah. Somebody's paying for him, bought and paid for. You think they don't have sway? You got Justice Roberts, who basically flat out said, no, I will not comply with a congressional subpoena, but you're supposed to be the top law and order of the land, and you won't comply with law and order. Then nobody should. Right? How can you hold the rest of us accountable if you don't want to be accountable? No one is above the law. But all you ever hear these idiots talk about is the Second Amendment, though, right? That's the only law that these MFs know. It's so frustrating. And then we got, Supreme Court rapists down there at the bottom. Kavanaugh, who should have never even been elected to begin with. But they go ahead and put him in the Supreme Court knowing that he sexually assaulted that doctor. Knowing it. And this is supposed to be the best of the best? This is supposed to be the best we have to offer? You're supposed to be exceptional to have one of those seats. None of these clowns are exceptional. They're just corrupt, greedy, power-hungry scumbags like the rest of the GOP. Oh, and make no doubt about it, they're all Republicans. And then we have the epitome of a scumbag. So, CNN. Why? Why, oh why did you give this clown an hour special when he's not even the nominee? He's just John Q. Citizen at this point. Why did you do this? There was no reason to give this fool a platform to spew more BS. Oh, he got on there and said all his regurgitated lies. The election was rigged. Witch hunt this, witch hunt that. I didn't rape old girl. I don't even know her, but yet you're in pictures with her. You're a clown. You're a fool. You're a disgrace. Absolute disgrace. I mean, just a pure POS. You have no empathy, no sympathy for anyone. And let's be clear, It's not a white, black, brown, or Asian thing. Trump doesn't care about anyone except for Trump. He only wants to enrich Trump. He's all about power. He doesn't give a damn about you or me or anyone else that doesn't serve his purpose. And all you have to do is look at his history. Every one of the people who he was once cool with, as soon as they left his cabinet, what'd he do? Start dogging them out. Dogging them out. It doesn't matter if they were white, black, or whatever. He doesn't care about anyone. He's a disgrace. And some of you follow this clown blindly. Well, you know what they say about the blind leading the blind? You're probably going to walk right off a cliff. Just let that sink in. So, getting back to CNN. And I admit, I used to watch CNN every single day. I didn't say anything, when they fired Don Lemon, but I will now. So, Don Lemon probably got fired for 2 reasons. The first thing that landed him in hot water is the comment he made about Nikki Haley, saying that she wasn't in her prime anymore. And while he probably shouldn't have said it, it was taken so out of context, right? Everyone was mad at Don Lemon for saying that Nikki Haley was no longer in her prime. But what no one failed or bothered to mention is that she said the same thing about Joe Biden. And that's the context that no one wanted to speak about. He was responding to what she said about Joe Biden. She said that he was past his prime. He was too old to do the job. So Don Lemon said, well, some would consider you past your prime, Nikki. And they made such a big deal about that. But the other thing was about the Indian guy. Asian Indian, not indigenous Indian, who had the audacity to come on network television, and he's a Republican, by the way, and try and school black people about black history and what it means to be black in America. And Don Lemon wasn't having it. And he told him as much. And that is what probably tilted the scale and got Don Lemon fired for doing exactly what any decent, self-respecting black person would have done. And say, hey man, don't tell me what it means to be black in America. Especially when you're not black. How dare you? And that's basically the gist of what Don Lemon said to him. Bravo, Don. You should have. And more black people need to stand up when we hear this foolishness, when we hear this garbage. So, yeah, you know what? We need more Don Lemons, not less. And this isn't about his sexual preference. That's his business. I don't have anything to do with that. But we need more black people in prominent roles that stands up for black people. See, we got too many that'll sit on their hands and just let people say things and, I'm taking the high road. No, sometimes we need to get down in the gutter And speaking of getting down in the gutter, I think I want to go there. First of all, like I was saying previously, if you're not part of that top 1%, I really don't know how you can support the GOP unless you're racist, unless you just fall for their culture warrior BS. Then I get it. Because if you're not like wealthy, none of their policies benefit you. Not a one. So you have no reason to side with them unless you're just racist. But to my black people, to my brothers and sisters that vote Republican, I really want you to tell me why. And I'm dead serious. I want someone to explain to me why in the hell are you voting Republican? Why are you voting for people who don't care about you not one iota? And I don't want to hear about, Democrats from the past were this, that, and the other, and Republicans of the past. No, now, today, 2023. I don't want to hear about what they did 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. That's irrelevant. It does not matter. These are not your same Republicans. These aren't even your George Bush Republicans. They don't care about you. So I really want someone to tell me how in the hell you can vote Republican. I don't get it. Like I said, unless you're part of that 1%, I just don't get it. What's appealing? All they do is lie. About everything. So how can you claim to be a good person? How can you claim to have any moral compass and listen to them lie and lie and lie and then give them your support? I really want someone to explain that to me, right? And please don't get caught up in that they want to kill babies, blah, blah, blah. Miss me. It doesn't matter how you feel or I feel. That's a personal choice. The government should not be telling you to make that choice. Now, may you have to answer that question on the day of judgment. Hey, that's on you. But your government shouldn't be making that choice for you. Again, but they're the party of freedom. Again, you can't tell me how much you are for kids and you keep allowing school shootings to happen. You can't tell me that you care about the kids. You don't. You don't want to do anything about gun control. In fact, you want to put more guns in schools and make it less safe. Don't tell me you care about kids. Don't tell me you care about kids when you want to cut back SNAP benefits, which would help kids. Don't tell me all of that foolishness. You don't care. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth. You can't tell me you care about Christian values, family values, and you support someone like Trump, who's a rapist, who has no moral compass, who lies and lies and lies and lies and lies. No redeeming qualities about this man. None. You idiots keep talking about Hunter Biden's laptop. And we're going to dig up this smoking gun on Hunter. Hunter Biden is not president. Hunter Biden does not work for the government. Talk about overreach. Oh, Hunter Biden and Joe Biden's family used Joe Biden's clout to get rich, like Trump and his kids did? Who just basically defied the emoluments clause? I mean, like he didn't even try and hide it. Talk about how the Chinese gave Ivanka patents because Trump was president. How Jared Kushner got all of that money from old boy in Saudi Arabia because Trump is president, huh? How Don Jr. and the other clown, Eric, how much money they've made off of dad being president. Don't talk to me about Hunter Biden. I don't give a damn about Hunter Biden. He has no effect on my life. But that's what you want to waste taxpayer money on? Chasing around Hunter Biden? Mofo, please. Go do something useful. Do something about inflation. Oh, wait, you can't. Right? Because of capitalism. And neither can Joe Biden or Donald Trump or Bill Clinton or Obama or George Bush or any other politician. You can't do anything about inflation because of capitalism. You can't tell corporations what to charge. The market sets itself. So if you want to be mad at somebody, be mad at the top 1%. Be mad at the corporations for raising prices after Trump gave them that huge tax cut. They turn right around and raise prices anyway. But then it's supposed to be trickle down economics, right? Because you give them the money and then it trickles down to everybody else. What a myth. What a stupid myth. You're basing your political policies off of the kindness of someone's heart? That's idiotic. Well, if we give them this money, we think that they're going to turn around and give it to their workers. Oh, yeah. Right. Well, history has shown us that that doesn't happen, right? I made a video a couple years ago called Numbers Do Lie, where I discuss how productivity has gone up since the 1960s, but your wages have stayed flat. There is no trickle-down economics. There never was. So again, I'm just really curious as to why a black person would vote Republican. Like I said, the Democrats aren't perfect. I know that. But when you compare the landscape, there's no choice to be made. These things aren't the same. They aren't on equal footing. Stop lying to yourself. Stop trying to convince yourself that they are, because they are not. And if you say, well, I just won't vote at all, ah, I mean, that's your choice. But again, how does that help? Because by not voting, all you're doing is making it easier for these clowns to get reelected. And then you want to bitch and moan. And I was trying not to cuss when things don't go your way. Why are you getting laid off from your job? Why things cost so much? Why is gas so high? But you don't vote. So you put these clowns in office who don't care about your job. They don't care about your gas being high. They don't care about your light bill being high. See, you still got to live here. And unfortunately, the way the game works is if you don't vote, no one's going to make policies that cater to you because you don't matter to them. That's the only way to get their attention. It's the only way. Now, maybe in the future, we can take the black vote collectively, which black is not a monolith. Blacks don't all think the same way, but maybe we can take our vote and we can say, hey, look, Democrats, we want this stuff. If you don't give it to us, we're going to the other side. But that's only when the other side comes back to the middle, because right now, they're just far crazy. They're not far right, they're far crazy. But until that day comes, none of us should be voting Republican. So I'm gonna leave it there for now. I think I've ranted enough today. If you like the way I think, slide over to Patreon, check out some of my original short stories. It's only $1.50 per download. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss out on our future videos. Oh, and thank you for all of my recent subscribers that I've gained over the last couple of weeks or so. I appreciate you guys. Be sure to turn on your notifications so you'll be notified every time I drop a video. I try and post like once every 2 weeks. Sometimes I get busy and I'm not able to, but yeah, just hit that notification bell. I swear all of my videos won't be like this one. It's just sometimes things are on my mind and I gotta get them off my chest, right? This is sort of like my therapy, right? Instead of me keeping that frustration bottled up and walking around with it inside of me, this is how I get it out. So again, I appreciate all your time. Thanks for watching. Peace.